follow your trail and I'm losing your mind and I'm losing your head. Let me escape from this unlove, cause I'm a prisoner. I just want to look my way and never back to you.
Hello and welcome everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Vietnam Formula 1 circuit here on F1 2020 here for Motive Racing's Formula 1 Championship. This is round 3 of the season and a track that I'm not particularly familiar with, I've got to say. It's kind of like a sort of a street circuit come purpose built in certain areas, I think, but I'm very much looking forward to seeing how we get on around here. It looks pretty similar from what I can see to the Russian Grand Prix track, certain sections of it, but yeah, very much looking forward to seeing how these guys get on around this circuit tonight. We've got a couple of drivers missing for this third round of the season. Wonder if that's due to the lack of confidence around such an unfamiliar circuit, but we're currently watching the first man out of the pits, DJ Phil, as he's just coming around on his outlap at the moment, driving in that Williams. DJ Phil, regular across the board here at Motive Racing, races in our Project Cars 2 leagues as well, pretty much every single one of them. He always turns out week in, week out for the series that he's signed up for, and it's always good to have DJ Phil amongst us out on the circuit, doing so once again here. He's currently running on those red marked soft tyres, the option of all of them, and he's just coming through what would appear to be the middle sector of this lap now, just trying to get those tyres up to temperature, testing the limits of this Vietnam Grand Prix track. Just gonna quickly run you through the championship standings coming into this third round of the season. After 2 rounds of the season, it's currently just Jose who comes into this one at the top of the standings with 45 points after taking a win and a second place and both fastest laps so far this season for just Jose. So he has absolutely killed it so far. It's been a superb battle between this man and Green Pies, who they've each taken a win so far this season. Green Pies took the win last time out at Bahrain, but it was just Jose who took the fastest lap. So just Jose leads the championship by 2 points to Green Pies. Green Pies is second on 43 points. Then it's a bit of a way back to Manu, sat in third in the championship on 21 points, and very unfortunately for Manu, he will not be joining us tonight for round 3. So the man currently coming to this one closest to the front 2 in the championship is this man Matahimovic, who's our regular commentator here at Motive Racing on Project Cars 2, commentates on our Clio Cup and Touring Cars on Tuesdays and Sunday nights. Also did a guest commentary for the ACC GT3 League a couple of weeks ago and did an absolutely superb job on that for our race at Monza. Actually commentated on the most viewed Motive Racing stream we've ever had. We had over 600 views on the stream that he commentated on over on ACC a couple of weeks ago, so massive thank you to Matt for that. Matthew Duffin, you will recognise his voice. If you heard it right now, you'd say, yes, I know exactly who he is. He's one of the voices of Motive Racing and also owner of Simpay Motorsport as well. Simpay Motorsport run their GT3 League on Project Cars 2 over Wednesdays and Thursdays. They have their second division on Wednesdays, followed by their top league on the Thursday nights. So massive shout out to Matahimovic getting his chance to race out on track tonight, as he has done for the last couple of weeks, and really is nice to see him being able to put that racing point through its paces and show what he can do. He's not just good at talking about the action on track, he's also pretty nifty on the actual black stuff itself, as we see he's running just behind his teammate Gary at the moment on the track. In fact, incidentally, Gary is actually 5th in the championship, just 5 points behind Matt on 15 points. Gary took actually got off the mark last week at Bahrain. He took a 3rd place, which followed up his DNF on the first lap at Australia the week before. But Gary will be looking to try and get back to where I'm sure he feels that he should be after a very disappointing opening round where he got a little bit too much onto the curb coming out of that chicane in the middle sector at Australia. I'm sure you know the one I mean. It's that long flat out left hand bend, which is basically a straight, leads onto a chicane. He got a little bit onto the curb, put it into the barriers on the exit, and we were coming into that one, we really had high hopes for Gary because he actually took the win in a 100% race around Mexico at Simplay in the Christmas period. So we all had high hopes for Gary coming into the opening round, and it was a bit of a disappointment at Australia, but then last week at Bahrain took a 3rd place, was not too far off the front 2. In fact, he almost took 2nd place off of just Jose right at the end of the race, but it was just Jose who held on for P2. Green Pies, as we said, took the checkered flag and took maximum points last time out. Well, not maximum points because he didn't get the fastest lap, but more or less maximum points. So Gary, as we said, coming into this one 5th in the championship. He'll be looking to build on a very strong result last time out. But Gold Standard comes into this one 6th in the championship. He's not here this week, so he will not be picking up any points. Brown Recluse sat in 7th in the championship and currently 7th in this qualifying leaderboard as well, driving in the Haas. He has got 10 points so far to his name in this campaign. Sure, we'll be looking to build on that one. 8th in the championship, Unorthodox, who's currently sat provisional pole position here in this session. Driving in the Formula Renault, Dan Davis doing his best Daniel Ricciardo impression. Daniel Ricciardo obviously vacating his seat in the Renault team to move to McLaren for the upcoming 2021 Formula 1 season. Pardon me, but yeah, Dan very much looking to fly the flag for the Renault team. Also races in the Renault in I think every single one of the series that he competes in here in Motive Racing. He drives in the Renault Clio, predictably, for the Clio Cup. He races in the Renault F1 team here on F1 2020. He races in the Renault Megane on Sunday nights, and he also races in the Formula Renault car on Saturday night. So yeah, he does seem to like the Renaults. Obviously 2 of those options are limited to only one car, being the Formula Renault and the Renault Clio, seeing as those are one make series. So, but the other 2, he's very much picked it because he is a big fan of the Renaults. So yeah, Unorthodox there. Looks like he's coming to the end of the pit lane just about now. Currently sat in 9th in the championship coming into this round is GDBO. He's still sat in the pits and yet to set a lap time, but it looks like he's just making his way out now, so that should hopefully change in due course. Emo Guy comes into this 10th in the championship, but he's had to unfortunately miss tonight's racing due to some personal family issues, so hopefully they're all okay, and Emo Guy will be back with us tomorrow night for the GT3s and the Formula Renaults. Keeg sat in 11th in the championship on 6 points even, after taking a 9th and an 8th in Australia and Bahrain respectively. And it's been a good start to the season for Keegs. He's been pretty strong. He's been mid-pack since the beginning, since we went lights out a couple of weeks ago. And he's also racing in our GT5s over on Project Cars 2 after this, so he's going to be here for the long haul tonight. Penguin Dude sat in 12th in the championship standings on 4 points, having finished 8th in the opening race at Australia, but last week failed to score at Bahrain. The only G, a man who we were not expecting to see in 13th place in the championship standings after 2 rounds. Driving in his Red Bull, he took a DNF in the first round at Australia. He qualified in P4, but wasn't able to get a prominent position. He crashed out near the end of the race actually, and then last week at Bahrain he had all sorts of problems. He lost his front wing, he had to come into the pits, get that changed up. He ended up well down the back of the field, and the Only really has seemed to struggle so far this season on F1 2020. We know he's got the pace, we know he's actually able to challenge quite a few of the top guys in the time trial leaderboards. He's got speed, but consistency has seemed to be found wanting just a little bit. But maybe, just maybe, we might be seeing a baptism of fire from the Only this time out in Vietnam. Hopefully we will be able to see the full potential of the Only. For those of you who do not know, the Only is a multiple world record holder on Project Cars 2. He holds 32 world records in the V8 supercars on the PlayStation 4. Some of those world records would also be the world record on PC as well, so he's clearly just got phenomenal pace across the board, and pretty much anything he does he's quick in. But we'll have to see how he gets on this time out. He has said in the first couple of weeks that he's been sandbagging a little bit over the first 2 rounds, but I guess we'll find out this evening whether or not that's true, as we see him getting a little bit wide there into the barriers. But NJ comes into this round sat in 14th even in the championship standings, driving in the other Williams other than DJ Phil. NJ currently 6th at the moment in this qualifying session, a little way off the top time being set by just Jose, having taken a 10th and an 11th place finish in the first 2 rounds of the season. 15th in the championship, ESA Jaffa Cake. Took a 10th place last time out, took his first points of the season at Bahrain, opening round of the season he wasn't actually present for, so last week was his debut. I'm sure he'll be wanting to build on his debut race last week and get some more points in the bag. 16th in the championship is Prouty. Prouty's not turning up for this week, he's unable to make it, that's a shame for him. 17th in the championship, Spider-Man, having made his debut last time out, missed the first round in Australia and was unable to score points unfortunately in that Ferrari. We'll have to see how he gets on for his second race of the season tonight. He's currently 3 seconds off that fastest time being set by just Jose. Then we've got 18th in the championship, Fury CBK. Unfortunately can't join us due to the fact that he has, it sounds like he's been grounded, but we're not 100% sure exactly what's occurring with Fury. Leon Fernie comes into this one 19th in the championship, can't make tonight unfortunately, says that something's come up so he can't get on. And DJ Phil comes into this one sat in 20th spot in the championship standings, having not turned up to the first race. Oh no, he did turn up to the first race at Australia, but he didn't ready up in time, so DJ Phil missed the first race and then turned out last week and didn't finish in the points unfortunately for him, so he'll be hoping to get off the mark this time out, and it's a good opportunity for Phil to get some good points. We know that drivers don't really know this track all too well due to the fact that it is a new track on the Formula 1 calendar. It does look like DJ Phil's lost his front wing, so he's obviously had a hefty whack into the barriers at some point. He is front wingless at this point, but yeah, we would just want to make the point that this is a really good opportunity for Phil. If he can keep it consistent tonight, he could be on for some very strong points to help himself, to boost himself in the championship. So we've got 5 minutes left to go. We've introduced all of the drivers there. That is the field for tonight, for round 3 of the season here for Motive Racing's Formula 1 Championship here on F1 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you see, then be sure to drop a like on this video, subscribe to the Motive Racing channel, and if you'd like to get involved, then be sure to go to motiveracing.com and join our Discord. Get involved that way, become a part of the action that you see out on track in front of you. Definitely all well worth getting involved with. Currently watching the man who's in P2 at the moment in this session, Brown Recluse, having an absolute flyer so far, driving in that Haas to see if he can really nail a lap at the moment. He's currently 0.6 of a second off of that fastest timing except with just Jose, and he's bringing it into the pit, so he's obviously not confident that was going to be an improvement. GDBO having a hell of a session as well, sat in P3. Unorthodox is in the pits at the moment. Nicky Allard is still out there. Matimovic in P5 currently sat in the pits making some adjustments to the car. 4.5 minutes left to go here in this qualifying session. Not long for these guys to get their cars fixed up, sorted, back on out on the track and ready to go for another flying lap. Nicky Allard currently going around. Spider-Man looks like he's on an out lap at the moment. Gary Keegs, NJ all in the pits. Green Pies looks like he's just coming up on a Red Bull, which is either Jaffa Cake or G. I imagine it's Jaffa Cake. Green Pies is in the pit box, and Green Pies, the man who comes into this round, sat in second in the championship after the opening couple of rounds. The winner last week at Bahrain seems to really be struggling so far at Vietnam. Hasn't been able to get himself in a position that I'm sure he would expect or like to be in. But it's still time in this session, still not over yet. But the clock is ticking down more and more and more as he's making a move up the inside of Jaffa Cake to get himself into some clean air there. This track is kind of, I'll tell you what it reminds me of. It reminds me of a little bit of Valencia and a little bit of Russia. It's sort of like a cross between those two. It's got the sort of the slower corners, similar to Valencia, but the faster, also the faster higher downforce, sort of G-force corners, if you like, of Russia. Very much a cross between the two, I'd say. As we see Green Pies coming out of the last corner over the line now, and he goes P2 with that lap, so he's got it together there. And we also saw the traffic that he had when trying to make his way past Jaffa Cake, so he's got within 0.3 of a second of just Jose, and that was with some heavy traffic in his way as well. Green Pies looking pretty strong for this one, I'll have to say. I think he probably would have had pole position if he hadn't been held up by Jaffa Cake there. Just going to take a very short break while I sort something out, guys. I'll be back on the mic in just a few moments' time. We're going to watch Spider-Man while we sort ourselves out. So, about ladies and gentlemen, we're approaching the final stages of this qualifying session here. Currently riding with Spider-Man as he comes out of the last turn. Let's see if he can improve on his current lap time. He stays P9 for the time being. He can't improve at the moment. Just Jose, Green Pies, Brown Recluse, Unorthodox, GDBO. The only G's moved himself up into 6th place towards the end of this qualifying session. He looks like he's on another one as well. So we will hopefully be seeing another attempt from the only G before we get to the end of this session. Currently wrestling that Red Bull around the middle section of the lap right now. But just Jose, the man currently sat on provisional pole position. He's taken one of the poles already this season. He took the pole at Australia for the opening round. He was the winner of that one as well. Took 2nd place last time out in the race at Bahrain. Can he take his 2nd pole of the season from 3 races? It looks like Green Pies has bailed out of his lap, so Jose looking very good for top spot here in qualifying, unless the only G can do anything about it. He's got to find 1.3 seconds in the final part of this lap if he is going to put himself at the top of that leaderboard though. Everybody in the pits except the only G, and just Jose's in the pits now as well, so the only G is going to come over the line. What can he do? It looks like he can't improve. He stays in 6th place, so it is going to be just Jose lining up at the front of the grid for the 2nd time this season in the space of 3 races. That Alpha Tauri is going to lead us away for the start of the 3rd round of the season here for Motive Racing's Formula 1 Championship. What a superb lap there from just Jose. None of these guys really knowing this track all too well, but just Jose getting to grips with this Vietnam street circuit at an absolute lightning fast pace. And this sets up an absolutely superb race, I'm sure. We've got a pretty close field here. We've got top 4 separated by a 2nd. Unorthodox and G not too far off. Gary, I'm sure, will be faster once we come to the race. Matahimovic in 8th place. Nicky Allard and Spider-Man completing the top 10. Keegs, NJ, Penguin Dude, Jaffa Cake and DJ Phil will be lining up at the back of the field for this one. And DJ Phil, just quickly, I will note there that he is on the medium tyres there, so he'll be starting on the medium. He'll be able to go longer into the first stint, but also that just bodes well for him because it shows that his pace pretty strong there in that Williams. But ladies and gentlemen, please hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the Motive Racing channel if you like what you see. We're moments away from the start of this race. Also, a quick plug to Motive Racing. If you want to join our leagues here, then make sure you go to motiveracing.com. Join our Discord server. That's the way you can get involved in the on-track action. You can be one of these drivers out there right now. We're just seeing here, we have got wet conditions for the start of this race, and not only have we got a new track which the drivers are not going to be all too familiar with, but they've also got to drive it in the rain as well. This is going to be incredibly challenging for the drivers out here right now. I wouldn't want it to be in the positions of these guys trying to learn a new track, and when you just finally feel like you got the hang of it, there's another element thrown into it as well, and that is rain. 25 seconds for these guys to get themselves sorted out and readied up. We're going to go for the formation lap first of all, and then we will be green, green, green for lights out here. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Just on our formation lap here before the start of the Vietnam Grand Prix here on F1 2020 at Motive Racing. Just Jose leading us round for this formation lap. Green Pies in second, Brown Recluse doing a great job there in quali, putting it into third spot. We've got GDBO behind them on the second row. But I just want to read a few of the comments on the YouTube section right now. We've got JR Sim Racing, our regular over on ATC in the GT3s, saying good luck everyone. Hopefully everybody keeps it clean and tidy. I'm saying that, not JR. But JR saying good luck everyone. Matthew Duffin, otherwise known as Matimovic, lining up in 8th place on the grid tonight, saying best of luck lads. JR saying, is this a new track? I don't remember it. JR, Vietnam's a new track for this season. It wasn't actually featured in the Formula 1 calendar for this season, but obviously they're racing the calendar that would have been this season, not the one that was actually used. Evil Scotsman, otherwise known as Emo Guy, saying good luck everyone. Sorry I couldn't be there folks. That's alright Ian, obviously family first and priorities, so understandable that you couldn't make this one. But BT saying good luck to all. Come on Brown Recluse. So BT Target, our GT3 champion over on Project Cars 2, getting behind Brown Recluse. Sergus Hans saying good luck for all drivers. Rainy race, is it good? Only 15 drivers, not so good. No, I'm sure it'll be a good race regardless, Sergus, as it looks like we are moments away from the start of the race. We're almost under the lights here, and when these 5 lights go out, we will be underway and racing for the 3rd round of Motive Racing's Formula 1 World Championship. Here we go, the lights come on. What's going to happen here as we get off the line? And it is lights out and away we go. And it looks like a strong start there from just Jose, but it looks like we got a poor start off the line there from Green Pies. He's already got what looks to be Brown Recluse looking to his outside coming into turn 1. Can GDBO get involved in this one? Looks like he can't. He still sits back in 4th place at the moment, but looks like a great start there from just Jose in the end. Green Pies holding on for that P2 coming through the first couple of turns. So it's just Jose leads the way. Green Pies second. Looks like we've got Brown Recluse running in 3rd place right now. GDBO slotting in behind these guys. Not too many position changes at the start of this race. We're just waiting for the timing board to adjust so we actually know who's where. But actually it does look like GDBO got ahead of Brown Recluse up into 3rd place. So great stuff there from GDBO. Brown Recluse down a position off the start line as these guys try and get acclimatised to these wet conditions very early on in this race. There is Unorthodox currently sat in 5th. Looks like Nicky Allard 6th. Matimovic has got ahead of his teammate Gary up into 7th place there. But it looks like Gary's got back ahead of him. These guys are side by side, the 2 racing points going wheel to wheel here down this long stretch. What's going to happen when they come into the braking zone? Is Gary going to have the inside? Matimovic very late on the brakes. Looks like he's still holding it around the outside right now, but Keegs there sat behind these guys in 9th place on the track. Spider-Man there completing that top 10. NJ Jaffa Cake, DJ Phil up at 2 positions already. Penguin Dude and the only G's had an absolute nightmare of a start to this race. Our admin and co-owner here, co-founder as well here at Motive Racing, not having the best of opening laps, and we see there he's trying to make the move on Penguin Dude for P14. So this is the start of the race that G would have probably had in his nightmares. But just Jose and Green Pies leading this race at the moment, 0.3 of a second separating these boys, the 2 drivers who have given us unbelievable action throughout the first 2 rounds of this season. They are once again showing us why they are where they are in the championship standings, and we see there that's just Jose getting very deep into that corner, and surely Green Pies is going to seize on that and move up into the lead of the race. He does, but just Jose holding it around the outside of the final corner out onto the pit straight to complete that one. Green Pies has to slot in, I think, because just Jose's got the better straight line speed. Coming into turn 1, looks like we've got GDBO in the background there trying to get involved in this battle for the lead as well, and Brown Recluse very much on these guys' tail as well. But Nicky Allard dropping off a little bit off this front pack. This is currently the 4-way battle for the lead here at the front. Just Jose, Green Pies, GDBO and Brown Recluse. Very close racing between all 4 of these boys. Looks like Unorthodox is on the rear of GDB of Brown Recluse as well as they come into this braking zone, but he's a bit too far back to go for that move. Matimovic trying to fend off Nicky Allard. Looks like Gary, Spider-Man, Penguin Dude and Jaffa Cake have all come in as we see Nicky Allard going very wide there, all over that curb and onto the runoff area. That would not have helped him at all. He's dropped off the back of Matimovic just a little bit there. Keegs running in P8. NJ, the only G, DJ Phil, the lowest runner of the guys, still yet to come in to the pits. And we're just seeing a comment there from Sergushan noting that this is the first race of this season so far where we haven't had a safety car. So that is quite a turnout for the books, ladies and gentlemen. The safety car not being deployed on the first lap, which is great to see. We like to see the drivers being forced to race it out properly. quite ironic actually that the first wet race of the season is the first race we don't have a safety car on the first lap. Very unusual. It looks like we got a yellow flag through sector 2. Hopefully no one's binned it, but it's currently just Jose still controlling this race from out the front, and he's got 1.3 seconds now, so he's pulled out a bit to green pies here on lap 2. There's GDBO still sticking within reasonable striking distance of green pies for the time being. Brown Recluse still trying to fend off Unorthodox as we ride on board with our LMP2 champion over on Project Cars 2. Let's see what he can get done here, as he's really trying to make some hay in the early stages of this race. Is he going to be able to force Brown Recluse into a mistake, possibly get into his head a little bit, and maybe Brown Recluse might slip up, just run wide, or God forbid put it in the barriers. We see Unorthodox there getting very deep coming into turn 1. But he's keeping it on that dry line. You see Brown Recluse just sort of fishtailing a little bit around, and Unorthodox very nearly got onto the wet line there, just tagging the spray. You see off of that racing line, the track looks absolutely treacherous, and Unorthodox very close to losing it there. But he ends up sticking it behind Brown Recluse for the time being, and he's now got Matimovic looking to his inside. Matimovic thought about that one, looked to the inside, had to roll over the curb to avoid running into the back of Unorthodox, but Unorthodox looking way out of sync here, and it looks like Matimovic is going to try and drag the car off of the racing line and drive it through the very wet protection of the track. But Unorthodox there, you saw getting offline there, coming through that section, and now Matimovic is up into 6th place, 5th place even, so good stuff there from Matimovic. Can Unorthodox try and fight back though? Coming into the middle sector, looks like he's going to try and make the move in the braking zone. He's at the inside. Is he going to have this one done? It looks like these guys are still wheel to wheel, and Unorthodox takes the position straight back off of Matimovic. These two, we saw them having a great battle last time out at Bahrain, and they're continuing it once again in the wet conditions of Vietnam. But Unorthodox holding on to P5 for the time being. Matimovic though really giving him something to worry about in the early stages of this race, as we now ride with Brown Recluse, who's currently closing up onto the back of GDBO a little bit. We saw GDBO getting Brown Recluse off the line. Brown Recluse obviously qualified in 3rd place ahead of GDBO, but the first lap didn't go too well, and it looks like we've got a safety car here. With the safety car has been deployed, we're not quite sure what the cause of this is. Maybe somebody's dropped their front wing somewhere. But whatever the scenario, we are under full safety car conditions here at the end of lap 3, so something's happened to somebody. So the whole pack's going to have to bunch up, and just Jose will be leading this race from green pies. GDBO Brown Recluse, Unorthodox P5, Matimovic in 6th, Nicky Allard looks like he's got ahead of Keegs there. So did he do that in a yellow flag zone? No, that could be a problem. Well, we'll have to wait and see on that one. But full safety car here, ladies and gentlemen, so we didn't get the traditional first lap safety car, which we've become so used to, but it's come reasonably early on in this race. Lap 3 was the moment when the safety car was officially deployed. So just Jose and green pies, their advantage well and truly wiped out. Looks like we've got a few guys trying to capitalise on this moment to come into the pits. Keegs, NJ, the only G, DJ Phil, Spider-Man, all electing to make their pit stops pretty early on in this race. Understandable, you would imagine, because these wet conditions, the wet tyres aren't going to last forever, and we never know when the track's going to dry out, so they want to get that mandatory pit stop out of the way in case it does stay wet for the remainder of this one. Pretty much all of these drivers on the intermediates at the moment, that green marked intermediate tyres, not quite the conditions for full wets at this point. But if the rain continues to fall, then that could change at any moment. So just Jose still leading this race right now, as we are under full safety car conditions. Green pies sat in 2nd. The two championship contenders, the two top championship contenders currently sat 1 and 2. But green pies would need to get ahead of just Jose if he wants to leapfrog him in the championship. Just Jose coming into this one leading by 2 points over green pies. For the last couple of rounds, we've seen these two pretty much have it to themselves in the battle for the race wins. So it's not really the ideal situation for green pies, currently being sat behind just Jose out on the track. There's GDBO having got that move done on Brown Recluse, coming into the turn 1, lap 1. He got it off the line, and he's currently sat in 3rd place to show for it. I'm just noticing on the timing board there, Unorthodox, NJ, Jaffa Cake and DJ Phil have all picked up black and white flags, so we would assume that was, well, actually Nicky Allard's picked up a 5-second penalty for a collision with Matimovic, and we see Nicky Allard there diving off into the pits. So presumably some damage on that car. He's going to hope that the safety car stays out for the remainder of, well, obviously it's going to stay out for the remainder of this lap because they're just starting lap 5 of 28 as Nicky Allard is bringing it into the box now. You can see there is the Alfa Romeo pit crew ready to receive him. So unorthodox sat in P5. He's got a black and white flag. Not sure if that's for track limits or whether it's for a collision. Jaffa Cake also has picked up a penalty. DJ Phil as well. Everybody else seems to be steering clear of the race director stewards at the moment. For the start of the Vietnam Grand Prix here on F1 2020 at Motive Racing, just Jose leading us round for his formation lap. Let me just see a comment coming in there from Matthew Duffin saying Dan got a drive-through for speeding on his Delta. So when we were on the virtual safety car, before they actually caught up to the safety car pack, Unorthodox was speeding in that particular period, which has caused him to pick up a penalty as a result. So the other drivers' penalties, obviously Jaffa Cake, NJ and DJ Phil. But early doors in this race, just Jose currently the man with the ascendancy. But anything can happen over the course of 28 laps here. It's going to be a long one here in Vietnam, especially in these wet conditions. It's going to be challenging. These guys are really going to have to be on it to make sure they don't end up in the barriers. It's a track where not many drivers know it too well. Obviously new to the Formula 1 calendar for this season, but didn't actually feature in any of the races due to obviously COVID being an issue, and street circuits are pretty much impossible to race around in this sort of in the situation that we're currently in. Well, it's due to make its Formula 1 debut for this coming season, actually 2021, so we're looking forward to seeing that. But none of these drivers really able to catch a glimpse of Formula 1 cars in real life going around this track, so it's pretty much a bit of a new beast for all of these guys out on track tonight. But just Jose's continuing to lead under safety car here, lap 6 of 28. For those of you just joining us live on the Motive Racing channel, I want to say a big warm welcome to everybody, and if you like what you see, guys, then make sure you drop a like on the video, subscribe to the Motive Racing channel, and if you want to join us on the track, then go to motiveracing.com. That's where you can get your free ticket to some of the cleanest, fastest sim racing on the PlayStation 4 platform. Jamie Brazier saying in the comments that Vietnam's actually off the calendar for 2021, so that's actually gutting for them to think about it, because they never actually got to feature on the calendar. Bitter luck for Vietnam. So this is the one time that you will see Vietnam featured on the Motive Racing channel. Save it a moment, guys, and drink it in, because this is not going to happen again. Jamie Brazier commenting on the combination of rain and Vietnam. I assume that he's pretty excited to see how this one pans out, but we haven't had much racing action so far. We've had 4 laps under safety car since we started. We had 2 laps of racing action, and since then we have been trundling around at very slow speeds, waiting for the rest of the pack just to catch up to the safety car pack. It's not easy for the guys out on track to have to be sat there patiently waiting to get the race back underway. We're just noticing from race control, Spider-Man has picked up a penalty for crashing into DJ Phil under safety car. So not what he would have wanted. And we would assume that's because Phil isn't, I don't know if maybe Phil wasn't catching up to the pack in time. Who knows what's going on there. I would have thought they'd have to hold position, but Spider-Man still making his way round, trying to catch up to the lead pack. So we're going to sit tight here and just wait for everybody to get back up to the lead pack. So lap 6 of 28, as we said. Looks like safety car's in, so we are going to go racing here for lap 7 of 28. It looks like Green Pies has already got ahead of Just Jose at the start. Just Jose absolutely sleeping as we got going once again. Brown Recluse is up the inside into second place. Just Jose getting pushed out a little bit over the curve and onto the asphalt, but it looks like Green Pies has got it really clear away at the front. He was absolutely on it as they got underway. So Green Pies currently leading this race. Brown Recluse getting ahead of Just Jose as well. Just Jose having a nightmare of a start. He's got Unorthodox all over the back of him as well here. The Renault looking to try and get ahead of this Alpha Tauri as they come on the restart. GDBO sat in P5. Masimovic behind these guys. Looks like Keegs, Gary, NJ, Aoniji competing that top 10. And we just see there that is what looks to be Gary just behind Keegs. Keegs was having a look on Masimovic in the braking zone, but he couldn't get the move done just there. But currently Keegs in a racing point sandwich, and it looks like Masimovic has got ahead of GDBO up into 5th place there. So GDBO dropping back, and it looks like we've now got somebody lining up a move here. That is Gary, still trying to find a way past Keegs, but he's not going to be able to do that. Also, the only G there in behind these guys looks like he's trying to get past NJ for P9. The only G very close to the back of NJ. That Williams really holding up the Red Bull. And we see there, G runs into the back of NJ, loses a bit of his front wing, and NJ up the inside there of Gary, trying to get up into that P8, but we see him back out of that one. Gary holding it around the outside, riding over that curb really aggressively, but the only G running into the back there of NJ. He's lost part of his front wing. Let's hope it's not too much damage on that Red Bull, and he can keep on going and keep doing what he does best and drive his way back through this pack. But we've got a yellow flag through sector 3 as we see there is Nicky Allard, and it looks like he's lost. No, he has got his front wing. Sorry, he doesn't. I don't know what I thought there, but Spider-Man currently running in P13. DJ Phil sat in 14th spot right now, and Penguin Dude in the pits changing his front wing, so not what he would have wanted, especially when the safety cars just come in on that previous lap. But Green Pies coming over the line. He's currently got quite a gap at the front now. He's got 9/10 of a second to Just Jose, but Just Jose still very much in striking distance right now. There's Penguin Dude, disaster for him down in P15. So we're a quarter of the way through this race, but Green Pies still leading this one right now. Just Jose very much keeping himself within striking distance of the man currently leading this race. These two championship contenders continuing to really dazzle us with some interesting racing action. We see there in the background we've got Rail McCluse trying to defend from Unorthodox. Unorthodox looking to the inside. He's going to have a little look in the braking zone. He can't quite get it done at the moment. Brown Recluse very much holding firm and holding steady, not allowing Unorthodox to distract him in the mirrors too much. But Unorthodox looking to the inside. Brown Recluse closes the door on him, and Matahimovic looking to try and get involved in this one as well. Haas, Renault, Racing Point, these three cars really giving us a good fight here. But Brown Recluse just about holding on for that final podium spot right now. But it looks like Unorthodox really wants to get on with this. He's weaving left, looking to the inside, trying to distract him, trying to force him into a mistake. The Renault's looking to the outside here as they come up towards this. He's got the inside for the next corner. Dan's going to throw one up the inside. He's still side by side, squeezes him out a little bit. The Haas goes a little bit wide onto the curb, and now Matimovic might fancy a chance of getting up into P4 here as well. Brown Recluse losing that position. Dan is up into 3rd place. Brown Recluse has a little look to the inside, but he's not going to be able to get that one back on Dan, and Unorthodox there has pulled off an absolutely fantastic overtake up into 3rd place. Matahimovic is now trying to line up Brown Recluse and get up into 4th place. But we know that Matahimovic was having a bit of a battle with Unorthodox before Unorthodox got ahead of Brown Recluse, so he'll be wanting to get ahead of Brown Recluse as soon as he can and resume that battle with Dan, who's now in 3rd place. Dan, Unorthodox, they're the same person, ladies and gentlemen, our LMP2 champion over in Project Cars 2. But it looks like Dan has now already pulled out almost 3 seconds to these guys since that's happened. Oh no, he hasn't. He's in the pits. So Dan there brings it into the pits. Presumably he's, I don't know, but it didn't have damage on the car, so he must just be making his pit stop. Just his sort of routine pit stop there for Dan. Brown Recluse still holding out ahead of Matahimovic right now. Nicky Allard's picked up a 5-second penalty we see on the bottom of the screen there for speeding in the pit lane. It's quite a lenient penalty, I've got to say, for speeding in the pit lane. But Brown Recluse still holding on to that P3 right now ahead of Matahimovic. There's GDBO sat in 5th. Keegs running just behind him Gary currently keeping these guys on their toes as well. Unorthodox, having made that pit stop, is now about 15 seconds down the road from those guys. I wonder if he had a drive-through, did Unorthodox, because he definitely seems to be pretty much in and out of the pit lane now. I wonder whether he just had a drive-through penalty, but he's continuing on his way right now. P8 at the moment for Unorthodox, but he's let's have a look at the stop screen. So Unorthodox, yeah, you're just seeing there on the graphic, he has not been in for his pit stop, so that was obviously a drive-through penalty there for Unorthodox. He's still got to come in at some point in this race. It's really dropped him off the back of Matahimovic, GDBO, Keegs, and obviously Brown Recluse. Brown Recluse has pulled out a bit of a gap to Matahimovic in the last sort of lap or so, the gap is now 1.3 seconds between those two. Just Jose has got ahead of Green Pies for the race lead, and he's got 2 seconds to him, so Green Pies has made a mistake somewhere out there. Just Jose who comes into this one leading the championship, currently with the ascendancy right now. Sergus Han in the comments saying not many drivers, but the racing is great. Absolutely, Sergus, and that's what you get here on the Motive Racing channel. You always get value for money, you can guarantee on that. Drop a like on this video, guys, if you enjoy what you see. Be sure to subscribe to the Motive Racing channel and go to motiveracing.com. Jamie Brazier there mentioning obviously that Dan had got his drive-through speeding under the safety car. I thought he'd served it already, Jamie, but obviously he hadn't. So, because Matt obviously mentioned that to us earlier on. And we're just noticing there on the timing board that Jaffa Cake has retired from the race. So he's obviously hit the wall somewhere. We'll be able to see whether or not we're going to have a safety car, or potentially he's had that crash somewhere out of the way. But GDBO currently still not too far behind Matahimovic. Brown Recluse has pulled out a bit of a gap to Matahimovic. There's now 1.5 seconds between those two, but GDBO looks like he's trying to get something done here with Matahimovic and get himself up into that P4 position. Also noticing on the timing board, the only G very close to the back of NJ now. It's been a very tricky season for the only G so far. Obviously he crashed out at Australia. Last week at Bahrain, hit the wall, lost his front wing. Managed to keep the car from being written off, but finished in 9th place in the end last time out. He'll be wanting to make sure he can get the best possible finish this evening here in round 3. But he's got NJ currently standing in his way of making some progress here. These guys are very, very long way behind the rest of the pack. They have made their pit stops. Keegs and Gary have also made their pit stops, and they're more or less with the leaders. So they've done a hell of a job. But we've had a couple of safety cars, and who's to say we're not going to have a couple more before we get to the end of this race. But currently G really hassling the back of NJ's, not quite close enough just at this moment in time to go for a move coming into the braking zone. Obviously with the wet conditions, DRS will not be enabled, so you won't have the benefit of a rear wing opening up coming down the straights. And for the time being, just slotting in behind NJ out on the track. Gap at the front between Just Jose and Green Pies continuing to widen. 3.5 seconds between those boys right now, so Just Jose's really getting a hammer down and seems to be enjoying these wet conditions very much. Looks like the only G's dropped off the back of NJ a little bit. So NJ's really got his foot down over the course. Oh, I say that, NJ getting loose. Oh, and G does a fantastic job there of avoiding going into the back of NJ. Brilliant reflexes from the only G. He read that situation absolutely superbly. I don't know how he's managed to keep himself out of trouble there. It's moments like that that can give you confidence as a driver. Obviously, the only G, not a driver who's ever going to be lacking in confidence, as we know, holder of 32 world records on Project Cars 2 in the V8 Supercars. But he will be counting his chickens after keeping himself very much out of trouble there. Very close call there for the LG. That could have been curtains in the blink of an eye. Sergus there saying great move from G. Absolutely, Sergus. Reflexes off the scale. As we see the gap at the front, 5.4 seconds between Just Jose and Green Pies. What has happened here? Has Just Jose left the session? It's saying on my screen that Just Jose's out of the race, but he seems to still be going, so that should just be a glitch. I'm sure that's not right. He's still going on my screen, so I don't think he's out of this race right yet. But the gap's coming down at the front right now. Just Jose still leading the race, but Green Pies is gaining actually consistently. And we have got a virtual safety car, ladies and gentlemen, so the gaps that you see on the screen right now will not change at all. They're going to stay the same for the next sort of few well, until this virtual safety car ends. So under VSC, looks like there's a pit crew getting ready for somebody who's coming in. We'll have to see, but obviously these guys slowing down through sections of the track. Everyone's going to be going at the same speed. They're all working to the same delta right now. So just Jose leading this race. Just Jose, I can't send invites when I'm in the spectator mode. I'm really sorry, mate. I can't do it. It's not letting me. Is there a way I can do it? I don't think there is a way I can do it. I'm pressing circle. I can't go back. I don't think I'm going to be able to get you in. I can't. There's no way I can get you in. So it looks like this Jose's retired from the race. So is that the AI driving for him? What's going on there? Must be the AI. So the VSC's ended, so we're back under full green conditions. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Just Jose's out on the track still. So very peculiar there for just Jose. But yeah, you see he's being gained on hand over fist right now from Green Pies. So it looks like that is clearly the AI driving for just Jose. He's out of this race, the championship leader, with an absolute nightmare there. It's very frustrating actually, the fact that the AI is driving for him, because it's kind of a bit distorting for you guys watching at home, and also for myself commentating. Hopefully the AI will pit him at the end of this lap, so that it's not so confusing. But currently Green Pies, now the race leader, coming up on the AI of just Jose, and it looks like he's ghosting through him. So obviously Green Pies and just Jose cannot see each other right now, or just Jose's disconnected, but Green Pies cannot see just Jose. He's driven straight through him and up into the lead of this race. Lap 13 of 28. This is going to be a big day in the points for Green Pies. He will benefit massively from this one. He's taken a second and a first so far this season. Second in Australia, was leading the race until the last lap. In the end, just Jose made that last lap move on him. And last week at Bahrain, Green Pies ended up avenging his defeat to just Jose the week before and took P1. I can't send an invite just Jose, I can't. I've got no controls. I've literally just got the spectator mode. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Ah! Here we go. Here we go. I think we're onto something here. 1 second. 1 second, right. Here we go. I think I've cracked it. Sorry guys, just hang tight for a moment. We're just getting our championship leader back into the race so he can continue fighting out this battle with Green Pies out on the track. My friends, this is taking approximately 7 years to load, so sorry about this guys. There we go. So just Jose's received an invite back into the lobby. He's currently sat in P4 at the moment, so he's got a long way back here in this race to get himself back into the action. But Green Pies now controlling this one from the front. Looks like they feel pretty strong out right now. GDBO closing up onto the back of Brown Recluse a little bit. Looks like the AlphaTauri really getting something done here with the Haas up in front of him. Let's ride on board with GDBO and see what he's seeing. Oh, as we see Brown Recluse getting out of shape there and running into the wall a little bit. Not ideal for him, and that's given the place to GDBO. So GDBO now up into second place. But Graham, who's fighting back here down the straight, it looks like he must have got a good run coming out onto the straight, and now Graham McClue's back up the inside, up into P2. Great racing between these guys. Can GDBO get it back in the braking zone? Looks like he can't. Just seeing in the comments there from Just Jose that he is back in control of his car now, so that's good to see, but he's got to get past a few of these guys. Just looks like he's lapping a Ferrari there, which would appear to be Spider-Man. So Just Jose into some clean air, but he's got a little way to go before he can catch up to Green Pies at the front. And has he got the pace to do so? Graham McClue's and GDBO next up for this man. The championship leader coming into this round, took the win at the first round at Australia last week at Bahrain. Didn't really go fully to plan for him. BT Tiger in the comments, getting behind Brown McClue's. Brown McClue's is driving an absolutely fantastic race this time out, BT Tiger, and he's doing a great job of keeping GDBO behind him as well. We saw those guys having a great tussle on that lap just a few moments ago. And it looks like Brown McClue's in that Haas car really starting to get to grips with these F1 cars here on this F1 2020 game. Oh, as I say that, gonna get it sideways there. Is GDBO gonna fancy an opportunity here? He will have seen that little slide there from Brown McClue. He's in the slipstream, 0.2 of a second separating these guys. I think he's a little bit too far back to go over the move into the braking zone. He'd have to really send it from there. In the end, he slots in behind as we see Brown McClue's there getting really sideways. The GDBO just holding steady that curb, trying everything he can to get up into this second place. Is DRS going to be enabled this time around? I think it's still a little bit too wet for DRS to be a factor here. Yeah, you see that rear wing just staying closed, but he's going to try and get it done anyway here. GDBO having a little look. We're flat out through this entire section. This is just a series of flat out right-handers, and it looks like for the time being GDBO is still unable to get that one done on Brown McClue's. He's really putting Brown McClue's under pressure, but just can't seem to find a way through just at the moment. But some great racing from these boys. These guys currently the only battle out on track, but it looks like Just Jose is closing in on both of them. In fact, this could be a three-way battle for second place before we know it here, because Just Jose very much bringing himself into this picture. But Brown McClue still clinging on for that second spot at this stage. And looks like Brown McClue's is into the pits, so he's pulled the trigger. But likewise GDBO. So GDBO and Brown McClue's both coming in on the same lap. Those two are battling over second place. This has allowed Just Jose to move up into some clean air now, which will definitely benefit him. So he can just log some laps, possibly try and jump these guys in the pits. We know that Just Jose really does have a pace advantage over those guys. Obviously comes into this round leading the championship, took the win in the first race at Melbourne, was second last time out of Bahrain at Sakir, so we know that Just Jose very much capable of fighting it out at the front, and was actually battling at the front for a long time, disconnected from the lobby. But obviously in F1 2020, if you disconnect, the AI takes over, and then when you get an invite back to the lobby, you can resume wherever the AI's got you. So Just Jose getting a little bit lucky there, getting a ticket back into the lobby. Lap 16 of 28, 12 laps left to go here in this one. The gap at the front between Green Pies and Just Jose, 4.8 seconds. So can Green Pies capitalise on this advantage that he's got and keep this lead of, it looks like though, as Green Pies had a moment here, he's slowing right down. Or maybe that's just sportsmanship there from Green Pies. Obviously he knows that Just Jose has got back into the lobby. No, it's not. What's happened to Green Pies? He is losing hand over fist here. Is he just conceding the time that he gained? He could be, actually, you know, thinking about it, that might be what he's doing. I don't know though. No, because he's still backing off. So Green Pies seems to have really got out of it. So Just Jose now leads this race. Has Green Pies picked up a... Oh, he spun it! Green Pies has had a moment. He's lost the time there. His Keegs is now up into P2. Green Pies is going backwards here on lap 16. What is going on? The Only G has also had a moment. He's DNF from the race. So the Only G having his second DNF of the season here at Vietnam. What is going on with the Only G this season here on Formula 1 2020? He's had the most topsy-turvy of seasons. In fact, it's not topsy-turvy, that's the wrong word. It's just been constant lows for the only G. Nothing seems to have gone right for him so far this season. He's getting the worst possible luck imaginable, and he's now out of this race. So we see just Jose and Green Pies both making their pit stops. Likewise Keegs. So everybody out on track now has been into the pits. So let's switch our details to the tyres. So Green Pies, having done 16 laps on the intermediate tyres, switching to those dries. Pretty much the whole field now on slick tyres. You've got GDBO and Brown McClues and just Jose all on the yellow mark medium compound tyres. Matahimovic running on the soft. Keegs, Unorthodox, Gary all on the mediums. Green Pies running on the red mark soft. You've got Nicky Allard and NJ on the mediums. Spider-Man on the soft tyres. Penguin Dude, DJ Phil on the soft tyres. So maybe Green Pie's problems there was just a case of the worn out intermediates really hitting the cliff, as the track had pretty much got bone dry. In the space of a lap it went from mildly moist to pretty much bone dry, and now the track pretty much at optimum, and we can really see what these drivers are able to do here, as we're currently watching just Jose making a move up the inside of Brown McClues up into the lead. So good move there from just Jose. Brown McClues and GDBO having a little bit of contact there, front wing going flying. And it looks like Brown McClues losing that position to GDBO. GDBO up into P2. There was a little bit of a scuffle there between those guys. Can these guys keep tabs with just Jose now in the lead of this race? Jamie Brazier saying in the comments his tyres must have gone. Absolutely, Jamie. I think that's exactly what happened. The intermediates just falling off the cliff, hitting that point where they've had enough, basically. Green Pies did change to the soft tyres at the end of lap 16, so he's going to try and do 12 laps on the soft by the looks of it. That would be quite a feat if he's able to do that. They will be screaming out in agony by the end of the race, but it would be a hell of a feat if he is able to do so. Everybody except Green Pies and Matahimovic is on the medium tyres, so Matahimovic also possibly trying to stretch this stint out until the end. We'll have to see whether or not these two are successful. Spider-Man, Penguin Dude and DJ Phil also on the red mark soft compound tyres. The quicker tyres, they have more grip, but they're just much shorter lasting. As we see there, Brown McClue's getting back up into second place ahead of GDBO, and it looks like Penguin Dude's retired from the race. So Penguin Dude's out of this one. He's DNF. He was running in P12, but he's obviously called it a day. So DJ Phil will move up into P12. I'll tell you what, Phil needs a couple more drivers to DNF in this race, and he'll be picking up points here. I mentioned earlier it could be an opportunity for Phil to really get his championship points on the board. Obviously, with a lot of drivers not being too familiar with this Vietnam track, we could be seeing people crashing out and making mistakes, and that's exactly what I'm anticipating could be the case here. But just Jose still leading this race right now by 3.9 seconds out the front. Brown McClue's just dropping off at the back of him a little bit. It looks like Matahimovic really making gains here on Brown McClue's. Now Matt is on the soft tyres, which will give him a considerable pace advantage at this point in the race. Well, I tell you what Matt really needs now, he needs a safety car, because a couple of laps under safety car would just buy those soft tyres a little bit of time, allow him to look after them a bit and maybe get them to the end of the race. They will have more grip, but the soft tyres only really last about 10 laps before they start to go off. The mediums around 15 laps. The hard tyres, usually you can get them to go maybe 20 laps. But Matahimovic, 12 laps on the soft tyres, it's going to be a hell of a push for him. He has got DRS here on Brown McClue's, but I think he might just be a little bit too far back to go for a move into the braking zone. He is indeed, he just can't quite make the lunge up the inside. He would have had to send it from there. That would have been a bit of a dodgy move. But Brown McClue's looks like he's going to leave the door open coming through this long left hand. You see the right rear tyre really does struggle through there, and now Brown McClue's has left the door open. Matt's not going to have DRS, no DRS through this section of the track. It looks like he's looking to the inside though as they come up towards this braking zone here. Is Matahimovic going to go for it? He's got DRS now, pulls out to the outside. Looks like Brown McClue's defending his line there, but Matahimovic will have the inside for this next corner, and he should be up and into P2. He should have that one done there. But Brown McClue's trying to hold it around the outside very late on the brakes. Matahimovic squeezes him out and up into second place. The Racing Point gets ahead of the Haas, and Matahimovic now in some clean air. He's 4.7 seconds behind the race leader, Just Jose. I mentioned earlier, Matahimovic could really do with a safety car right about now, because if he got a safety car, it would give him a chance to just save those soft tyres a little bit. He's going to have to run 12 laps on those soft tyres as it is, and that's going to be a hell of a push for that Racing Point. He's going to have to start looking after those tyres a little bit before we get to the end of this race. Currently, he's keeping the gap to Just Jose at the front, but Matt, I think, could really do with a safety car. Whether or not he's going to get it, we'll have to wait and see. Just Jose, the race leader, currently running on the medium tyres. He can go to the end on those quite comfortably, we believe. Matahimovic on the softs. It's going to be a push for him. Brown Recluse, GDBO, Keegs, Unorthodox will all be able to get to the end rather easily on those yellow mark medium tyres. Green Pies should be able to get to the end. He's been on those for 2 laps now, so he's going to have to do well. 11 laps, still a bit of a push. Green Pies may have to look after those soft tyres come the end of the race. It's not going to be easy for him, and also he's got gaps up the front to the guys ahead, so Green Pie's not the race he would have wanted. He stayed on the wet tyres a little bit too long in my opinion, and that has been what's potentially lost him the race win. Just Jose, his championship rival, currently with the control of this one and doing a fantastic job out front. Gary there running on the mediums. He should be able to go to the end. I think he's done 5 laps on those. He's got 8 to go, so he'd have to do 13-14 laps on those mediums by the time he gets to the end of the race. It should be doable. As I said, the medium tyres usually can do around 15 laps around most tracks. So Gary should be alright. Nicky also should be good to go to the end. Spider-Man's going to be riding his luck though. He's already done 4 laps on those soft tyres. He's still got 8 laps left to go. NJ and DJ Phil, I reckon NJ should be good to go to the end. DJ Phil, those soft tyres will be on a knife's edge at the end as well. Very similar situation to Matahimovic and Green Pies. But this man, Just Jose, he's got enough tread on those medium tyres to get to the end. He's currently got the ascendancy here in this race. He had a brief scare earlier on where he disconnected from the lobby, but he managed to get back in, and his AI only lost him about 5-6 seconds altogether, so he was able to reassume in the position he was pretty much in before he got disconnected. He has controlled this one since Green Pies ran a little bit too long on the intermediate tyres, which seemed to bite him a little bit. Green Pies now down in 7th place here in this race, but I'm sure this Jose is just going to want to run this one out, manage this gap that he's got, and bring it home for what will be his 2nd win of the season if he can continue what he's doing right now. We're 75% of the way through this round 3 here at Vietnam. What a race this has been. It really has been eventful, but Just Jose looking very good to take his 2nd win of the season if he can keep doing what he's doing. Matahimovic has got Brown Recluse closing up onto him a little bit now in this battle for 2nd and 3rd. See in the background there, GDBO a little bit off to these guys in 4th. Keys currently running in P5. He's got Unorthodox and Green Pies very much, well, he's got Unorthodox in his rearview mirrors. That's a lap car there behind. Oh, sorry, it's a lap car in front of them even. So it would appear that they've got... Who's that in front of them actually? Is that an Alpha? Oh, it's Nicky Allard, of course. So Nicky Allard is going to have to adhere to these blue flags in a few moments' time, because he has got Keegs and Unorthodox very close behind him. What's up to Unorthodox there? Unorthodox has had a bit of a moment. Looks like he's dropped off the back of Keegs. We missed that. Hopefully he didn't hit the wall. I would hope and pray there is no damage on Dan's Renault right now, because that would really derail any chances that he's got of getting up into a top 5 spot here in this race. Keeping half an eye on this battle for P2 though. Brown Recluse currently really keeping Matahimovic on his toes, and as we said earlier on, Matahimovic made an early switch to those soft tyres. He's going to have done 12 laps on those red marked soft tyres by the time we get to the end. It would be a hell of a stint for Matahimovic to make that work. I don't know whether that is possible to get those soft tyres to go 12 laps. Brown Recluse will have more than enough left in those medium tyres. Obviously hasn't got the pace advantage that Matahimovic has got right now, but he will have the durability in those tyres to get him to the end quite easily. Sergus Hunt in the comment section saying Williams is in the end nothing new. Yeah, absolutely. Shame that we haven't got any Mercs on the grid actually this time out, Sergus Hunt, because they'd be right at the front if this was anything to do with reality. Obviously, Leon Fernie and Emo Guy both unable to turn out this week. As we see there, that's Matimovic still trying to cling on for this race. P2 ahead of Brown Recluse. What a great battle these guys have given us. Brown Recluse still not unable to get round him just at this point. But 0.4 of a second separating these boys right now on lap 22 of this race. And Brown Recluse really piling this pressure on Matimovic now. Matimovic on those soft tyres, though, his tyres will wear out considerably quicker than that of Matahimovic's, than that of Brown Recluse's even. Just Jose there setting the fastest lap of the race as this track continues to dry out and get quicker and quicker as this race goes on. We're reaching the dying laps of this race though, 6 laps left to go. Just Jose looking extremely good for his second win of the season. He's currently fastest man out there and just pulling away from the rest of them. It looks like Green Pies is sort of closed up onto the back of Keegs and Allshouse, but Green Pies is in the pits. What has happened here? He's bringing it into the box. So that McLaren has clearly got something wrong with it. I don't know whether maybe the tyres are wearing out or his front wing seems to be intact. So that was very much an in and out there for Green Pies. I don't know what's gone on there, but this is going to hurt his championship even more. Just Jose is going to be gaining so many points on Green Pies after this round. Gary's up into 7th place. Looks like Green Pies at the exit of the pits now. He's going to come out in P8. Not the race that he would have wanted at all. Just Jose still leads this race. He's got 13 seconds at the front over Matimovic. In fact, Brown Recluse has got ahead of Matimovic as they come into the braking zone. He's got that one done into P2, but we see there Matimovic making a late move on the inside. Pushes him a little bit wide. Little bit naughty from Matimovic there as he really got his elbows out and edged around Recluse to the outside of the track. A bit of rubbings racing between those guys. Never what you really want to see in these cars though. But Matimovic getting himself back up into that P2. Very exciting racing in the closing laps of this race. And it's now the Racing Point back up into that second place ahead of the Haas. Approaching the final few laps of this race now. Keegs still really over the back of Unorthodox, but the Unorthodox haven't got that move done on Keegs. Can Keegs fight back in the final few laps of this race? Green Pies now 20 seconds behind these guys. Looks like Green Pies has made a move on Gary. We missed that one, but he's got himself back up into 7th place. And Matimovic has made a mistake. He's in the pits. What's going on here? And Matimovic coming into the box. Oh no. Maybe the soft tyres starting to wear off a little bit. He's bringing it in, so Keegs is going to move up into P5. And Green Pies looks like he's a little way behind, so he should be safe to Green Pies. But Matimovic has gone from a very strong P2 to a P6 here in this race. This race has gone a disaster the later stages of this one for that Racing Point driver. So Brown Recluse looking very good for P2. GDBO now sat in a podium spot here. He'll be very happy with that one, I'm absolutely certain. He's got some traffic here just behind him actually. He's just put a lap on that Alfa Romeo. That would appear to be Nicky Allard. But the race leader still just Jose, continuing to eke out that gap. 16 seconds he's got at the front over Brown Recluse. This man is in a league of his own here in the dry conditions at Vietnam. We saw him take pole position in the qualifying session by 3/10 over Green Pies. Green Pies had the pace to challenge him tonight, but unfortunately just has not fallen for Green Pies. He's had problem after problem this evening, and he's currently down in 7th place. He will lose lots of points to his championship rival just Jose, but a 23 round season here at Motive Racing for the Formula 1 Championship here on F1 2020. So still a long way to go, and Green Pies and just Jose have put on some fantastic shows over the first few rounds of this season, but not the round that Green Pies would have wanted. I'm sure he'll come back fighting stronger than ever next time out though. Looks like Matimovic right on the back of Keegs here in this battle for P5. Currently the Haas doing everything he can to keep that Racing Point behind him. It's right on board Matimovic. You see he's got DRS coming down the start straight, and Keegs moves over and lives in the space on the inside. Matimovic is going to have that one done into the braking zone into turn 1. Matimovic is up into 5th place. Great move there. Making the most of that rear wing and sailing past Keegs. He's obviously got the soft tyre as well, some fresh soft rubber, which made that move even more routine for the man in the Racing Point. Matimovic obviously running high in the point standings here for the Formula 1 Championship. Comes into this one 4th in the Championship. He will most likely, I think, be 3rd in the Championship after this. because he will have leapfrogged Manu in the points. Obviously guys like Gary and Gold Standard near to him in the standings, below him, not having the best of rounds. Gold Standard not turning up, Gary having a bit of a poor one, so Matahimovic will move up into P3 in the championship standings after this. I'm sure he will be absolutely stoked with that one. A regular commentator for the Clios and the touring cars on Tuesday and Sunday nights here at Motive Racing. It just shows they're still going around in the race lead. 3 laps left to go here at Vietnam. He's got 18 seconds over this man, Brown Recluse, who's managed to hold off some pretty substantial pressure from various drivers. He's had good battles with GDBO, Matahimovic, Green Pies. He really has had to get his elbows out over the course of this evening, Brown Recluse, but he's done an absolutely fantastic job in that Haas car, and a very well deserved second place if he can indeed keep it where he is right now. GDBO 5 seconds behind him on the track, currently just putting a lap on Nicky Allard there. You see him just ghosting through him. Unorthodox running in P4, our LMP2 champion over in Project Cars 2. Also a regular racer in the Formula Renaults and GT5s, and commentates alongside myself on the GT3s and the GTEs. In fact, does a fantastic job on the GTEs on Monday nights with his father, Kelly Davis. Obviously unorthodox, otherwise known as Dan Davis. Got the privilege of commentating alongside those two on Monday at Long Beach, and that was a good fun. But currently unorthodox running in P4. He's 7 seconds behind GDBO. I think that podium ship has sailed for unorthodox, but certainly some good points nonetheless. He has got Matahimovic closing the gap on him, and obviously Matahimovic on some fresh soft compound tyres will definitely be gaining over unorthodox hand over fist at this point. And we see once again these two look like they're going to be locking horns out on the track. We saw last week at Bahrain these two were giving us a hell of a show all the way to the checkered flag. I believe it was over the same position as well, or it might have been 5th and 6th rather than 4th and 5th, but it's always the prominent mid-pack placings between these two boys. Matahimovic will be, I'm sure, disappointed that he hasn't been able to get on the podium. It looks like just Jose's in the pits, is he? Is he? I don't know. Yeah, he is. So just Jose. Wow. He's pretty confident that he can come into the pits, change to a fresh set of soft tyres, and get the fastest lap of the race here. Just Jose really running the risk, but I've got to say that is ballsy and fair play, because he just brought it into the pits at the beginning of lap 27. He wants the fastest lap of the race. He wants to get pole position, fastest lap and race win here. He wants to get the clean sweep, and it looks like he's going to do so. But wow, he only came out about a second ahead of Brown Recluse. He was so close there to losing that P1 position, but he's obviously got the confidence in his own ability. If he had come out behind Brown Recluse, I'm sure he would have fancied himself to get up into that P1 once again. But we're into the final lap and a half here at Vietnam, and it's just Jose with the ascendancy, the man who came into this one leading the championship, and he's going to extend that advantage over Green Pies in the championship. Few comments coming in. Sergis Han saying good weather change today. Absolutely, it's been really exciting to see the developments as this race has gone on. Nicky in the comments of Team Prolapse very much getting behind Dan, little Team Prolapse symbol there. Once again stirring up the rumours that Unorthodox has made a switch to Team Prolapse. But just Jose leading this race, starting lap 28 of 28. He has got 4 seconds of a gap over Brown Recluse right now. Brown Recluse has driven a fantastic race in this one, and he's going to bring it home in the second position. Who's going to get the final podium spot though? Matahimovic is really giving GDBO something to worry about now. Looks like Unorthodox had to bring it into the pits. I'm not sure, maybe, I don't know, actually he's still out there, so he must have made a mistake on Unorthodox, because he's down to P7. He's dropped behind Keegs and Green Pies, but this is the battle for third place here in this race. Matahimovic on an absolute flyer right now, I think. But just Jose currently leading this race. He has got 7 seconds of a lead over Brown Recluse. Beardy's life Obviously getting behind Dan and Sutty Apex there, getting behind the Simplay boys. Good evening, Sutty, welcome along. Join us on the final lap of this race. Simplay boys, Matahimovic currently running in P4. Got Gary not having the best of races in 8th place. NJ running P10. But Matt doing a hell of a job in what is a rare opportunity for him to get out onto the track. Obviously commentates for Simplay Motorsport on Wednesday and Thursday nights. Also commentates for us here at Motive on Tuesday and Sunday. So he's very much got a packed out schedule in the commentary box. So it's good to see him getting out on track and having an opportunity to show what he can do on the grey stuff, as well as talking about it in the commentary box. But this man here, just Jose, is the man of the moment as he's coming out of the last corner here at Vietnam. He's going to take round 3 of the season here for Motive Racing's Formula 1 Championship. Fantastic job there from Just Jose, and he didn't have it easy either. He had briefly disconnected from the lobby. He had to jump back in. He only lost about 5 seconds in the end. It was a brief disconnection, but nonetheless he has driven absolutely superbly. Just Brown McClure, sorry, takes P2 there. Brilliant job from him. GDBO is going to come over to complete the podium. Matahimovic is going to take a 4th place here in the racing points. Some good points for him. Once again outscoring his teammate Gary, and Matahimovic moves up into 3rd place in the championship standings with that result. Green Pies comes over 5th. Will still be in 2nd place in the championship after that round, but he will lose points to Just Jose even. I'm just noticing here, Just Jose will live to rue that decision to change tyres at the end, because he's been dropped down to P2. I don't know what's happened here, but Just Jose has dropped to P2 in the standings. Let's hold our horses here on this one, guys, because he might end up taking the win. We'll have to wait for the final classification to pop up on the screen, but provisionally Brown McClure has been awarded the win. Just Jose 2nd, GDBO completing that podium, Matahimovic 4th, Green Pies 5th, Unorthodox finishing 6th, Keeg 7th, Gary 8th, Nicky Allard 9th. NJ is going to come around to complete the top 10. He's going to take the final point here in the Williams. So Williams off the mark in terms of the championship points for this season. Spider-Man is going to come around to take 11th place in the Ferrari. DJ Phil crossing the line to complete the race in P12. So that is that, ladies and gentlemen. Let's wait for the final classification to pop up on the screen so we can have confirmation of exactly what's happened here. Matahimovic gets driver of the day for a brilliant comeback drive in the racing point. So let's have a look here, because I'm pretty sure Just Jose took the win, but Brown Recluse has been awarded the win by the race stewards. So this could be subject to change here, ladies and gentlemen. We don't want to confirm Brown Recluse as the winner. We don't want to confirm Just Jose as the winner just yet. We need to find out exactly what's happened here. Possibly an error on the F1 game, but obviously as a league we can make our own adjustments if needed to the standings. So yeah, a little bit of a head scratcher there. Brown Recluse provisionally the race winner, but I'm pretty sure Just Jose will be awarded the win once all is said and done, because as if you look at the timing screen there, he received no penalties, he crossed the line first, and for some reason he's been chalked down as losing the race by 6.7 seconds. So we're not quite sure what's happened there, ladies and gentlemen. So obviously hang tight on that one. We will figure out exactly what's gone on there. I believe Just Jose will pick up the win